the bookshop, it's the bookshop, it's the bookshop of Beverly Farms.
Howdy, everybody. It is Sam Fightful, once again, your host of John Updike's Ghost, your favorite little podcast about reading, literature, books, bookstores, and this week, awesome presents to get for your friends, family, and even people you don't like all that much. I am joined, as always, with Hannah Harlow, who is sitting in the bookshop right this minute with all of your up-to-date holiday book buying information. How are you doing, Hannah?
I'm doing great. I thought you forgot my name for a second. It took you. You had a nice long pause there.
Well, yeah, it's dramatic right there. You know, you're supposed to like
dramatic tension.
Dramatic. You know, who is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm here in the bookshop. We just got through one of the busier weekends of the year that happen each year.
Noir Friday.
Some people know it as Noir Friday, Small Business Saturday. I don't know what Sunday's name is. We just sell books on Sunday.
Yeah.
I guess today
we
is
probably could have
Cyber
been
Monday.
closed if we wanted to. I don't know.
We sold some books. Today's Cyber Monday. We're not doing anything. I don't like these things are not for small businesses really, except for the Saturday thing. But
no, I think Cyber Monday was mostly created by our Lord and Savior Amazon. Oh, look at that. Right. Here's our mailman. Come right now. This is the action that people come for. Did you know, everybody, that we just had our mail delivered right in the middle of this podcast? Very exciting.
If we're lucky, UPS will also come.
Oh, wow. That would be perfectly disruptive. Anyway, so we are in a commercial frame of mind here. And we have decided that we are going to play a little game for you, which mimics the way things work in the bookshop. One of my favorite things about working the holidays in the bookshop is people will come in and be like, I need a book for this person. And then I get to ask lots of questions about this person. And then I zero in on the perfect book for that person. And if I can do that with my limited skills, just think how gifted Hannah Harlow must be at this very task. So we are going to play a little game where we will ask each other for a present recommendation idea for a certain person. And then we will give that recommendation with a very brief little why. Are you ready for this? I guess
I'm just power poses because I'm a little nervous. Feeling on the spot, which is not my, favorite feeling.
This is literally what you do all day for a living. So I can't imagine how I could be possibly putting you on the spot. And I'll even let you go. You can pick.
Normally I get to wander around and you're looking at stuff on the floor as you're talking to people.
Oh, I see. So you should just need to visualize.
I might just lift the laptop up and start walking around. Or all my recommendations are going to be things that are on the shelf in the back office. But
that's possible. There's lots of good stuff back there.
There's a lot of good stuff. There's so much good stuff everywhere you look.
All right, why don't you go first?
Okay. So let's imagine. I'm going to start off with a tough one for you.
Oh, a tough one. Okay, let's see.
Because someone walks in the store and they say they have maybe a 12, 13, 14-year-old.
Oh.
Yeah. And they just have no idea. They actually don't even really know that much about them. It's like a nephew.
A nephew. Uh-oh.
Yep.
That's terrible.
And they maybe like to read, but they really want to get them a book.
Aha. Okay.
So you have like a pre-teen / early teenager.
Okay.
Situation.
So, I have some thoughts on that. So one, I'm not sure if this is going to work for a boy, but it might work for a boy. It really depends on just how sensitive a young man this boy is. But I have just finished this book called Sugaring Off by Erin French, who is a fellow Mainer. I'm not sure if you know.
I thought you'd already read that.
No, I gave it to my daughter last year.
Okay.
And then I just gave it to my neighbor, Ava, and I've decided I should read it if I'm going to be giving this book out. I gave it out because it is about a hard of hearing girl who works on a maple syrup farm. And so,
that's got so
very
many
close
things that are right up your alley.
right up my alley. So it's outdoors, the sugar farm. I love maple syrup. Very few people know this, but I'm one of the biggest fans of Maine Maple Sunday going. I've played numerous Maine Maple Sunday concerts. It is a holiday that really needs to happen. This is actually set in New Hampshire for reasons that aren't clear. I don't know why it isn't just in Maine, but I think it's like more remote.
I thought the author was Canadian too, so I thought it was going to be set in Canada.
No, she's a Mainer.
Oh, why didn't she set it in Maine then?
That's what I don't get. I don't know. But she did not.
Also, but you should tell. I doubt our listeners know what your wife does for a living.
My wife is an audiologist who is someone that works with people who are hard of hearing. So I actually know a remarkable amount about people who are hard of hearing. I think Jillian, I would give her like a B on the hearing stuff. There's some stuff where she has to kind of smooth over the edges. There's like some hand waving about why this girl cannot use hearing aids for some reason. There's like too much buzzing. They can't fix it. Also, her hearing loss was caused by a head injury. She like fell down the stairs. Actually, I'm not going to tell you how exactly she got it. But it's, it's fine. Kristen probably should not read the book. She would probably be distracted by it. However, I teared up on more than one occasion.
Wow.
Yes, I would say. And it's like, there's no magic. There's no weird stuff. It's a very self-contained little story until the very end. It went, jumped the shark just a little bit, got on its motorcycle and jumped the shark at the end. It really didn't need to. It had this great rising action and, it crested with like this deep betrayal. And it's like, the first time your boyfriend screws you over and, very sad. And, I thought that mom did a great job being like, don't worry about it. It's just some dick. There'll be another guy around, and, but then people are starting their shootings of guns. And then, it went a little over the top at the end, but I would say, just as a really nice little human story about people that you recognize, I would recommend it. So if you have, especially like an 8th grade or 9th grade girl, I think it's, just the book to give them, getting into their first romantic relationships, that type of thing.
Right. So it's in the young adult category, but it's appropriate for some slightly younger readers too.
Yeah. I mean, there's like some heavy petting, but there's no, nothing too bad. Nobody,
cool.
I don't think anybody dies. No.
There are guns going off, but nobody dies.
But everybody's just kind of, hurt.
Good. Great.
Okay. I've got one for you. Okay, so I come in and I'm very worried because my mother reads all the books, everything that comes out. I need a book that is new, is fiction, is hardcover, but maybe this voracious reader of ours has not read it yet. What would you tell that person?
One of my go-tos for this is the new, because it just came out at the very end of November, the new Clarie Keegan. And if you've been listening to this pod, you know that I love Clarie Keegan. And Grove is the American publisher of Clarie Keegan, who's an Irish writer. And all these things have been published in the UK, but it's new to us here in the States. And last year we had Foster by Clarie Keegan, and the year before that we had Small Things Like These. And this November, we have a book called So Late in the Day, which is 3 short stories by Clarie Keegan. And all 3 books are the same, small trim size. They're all fairly slim, and they have beautiful artwork on the covers.
And they're color, there's green and red. This year's red.
Green, blue, and this year's red.
Yeah.
So I feel like this works for so many great reasons. Like maybe you've given the other 2 books to people the past couple of years and you're like, I'm going to give you the 3rd. Or you could buy all 3 for someone and they're lovely. Or you could just buy one of them, but particularly this brand new one for your voracious fiction reader. And it's accessible. I think it's a nice gift because you're not here, read this 800-page tome. If you don't know that someone wants that. especially at the holidays where it's kind of like everyone's super busy and like I know we're about to go into like a reading season, but I just think it makes like a lovely present.
I like, and the bag appeal is, you want the books to be cool when you do the unwrapping, So that's the other thing. The cover of Sugaring Off, very pretty.
It is very pretty. I know
yeah.
that cover.
And so like, if you I think you look pretty cool if you get all three of those little books and you give it as a little collection. It's the sort of thing that even someone who doesn't read very much, they would probably like put it on their shelf with like pretty little bookends and be like, oh, look at me, I'm literary.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, these work for so many, like they're also great teacher gifts. They're great hostess presents. But, I also think if you have someone who reads a ton of fiction, this could, she has these books, I think, have been making the bestseller list, but I do think they could be flying under the radar for some people.
And also, I think the people who like read all the brand new fiction, they like go right to those fat hardcovers, and this one is probably like a little offset, or and they might skip right over it.
You don't want to give the new Ann Patchett, which came in August, and you I do think the Alice McDermott might be new enough, and everyone knows I loved that. I think I talked about it, Absolution. So and that's also a nice. They did a good job on that cover too, so it also makes a nice gift.
And remember,
so that's a possibility.
You really cannot buy books for yourself after this point in the year. You got a month where you should be buying books for other
I don't know what you're talking about. But I mean, no, you buy books for other people and you throw one in for yourself.
Oh, that's true. That's
how it works.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But
you got to buy
you
older
have one
books.
that you're
Buy older books for yourself. Buy backlist for yourself that no one would think to get you. There you go.
And then you have a book you're going to definitely want to read, just in case. What if people fail you at the holidays?
What if people fail you? They don't listen to this podcast and they buy you crappy books, or they don't buy you books. What a disaster.
It'd be a disaster.
That would be a disaster. All right, it's your turn.
I'm going to give you a softball.
Aha.
Which now I should ask you about sports books. I was going to ask you because that'd be a fitting
softball
metaphor.
I like it.
Okay. I'll give you two easy ones in a row. Let's start with this good sports book, because you read sports books, and I need to buy a book for a dude, and dudes like sports, just to be really generic.
I've noticed that dudes like sports.
Yes.
So the layup is Joe Posnanski's Why We Love Baseball, right? You probably got the Baseball 100 for your dad last year. This one is a really great companion. It is maybe one level more schmaltzy than the Baseball 100. The Baseball 100 definitely has like some Joe Posnanski, like shucksism about it. He was started out in Kansas City at the Kansas City Star, and he definitely has some of that like Midwestern, I love everything sort of charm to him. Why We Love Baseball is like the 50 coolest, in his opinion, moments in baseball history sort of thing. Like, weird things that happened or amazing things that happened. He loves an underdog story. So totally gettable. But should your person be a sportsy outdoor person who is not into like mainstream stuff, you might try this new fly fishing book that has come out. It's The Catch of a Lifetime by
I know, I have it on the front table.
I thought you might have heard of it because I saw it amongst our collection. But I checked it out, and I think for that sort of person, like I'm thinking of like Field Rider, my banjo player, who like calls it sports ball, but like has dogs and shoots stuff and has like, special pants that he wears when he goes out bird hunting. This person would love, I think, The Catch of a Lifetime. So, cool. If they are like a sportsy dude who is not particularly sportsy, there you go.
I also want to mention, did you see they did a football 100, but it's by The Athletic?
Well, he works for The Athletic. Are you sure that's not by him too? I thought it wasn't out yet.
Football 100 is out. But it doesn't have Posnanski's name on it, but maybe he was involved.
Oh, well, he recently
seemed like a real ripoff.
I think potentially he like wrote that under a contract with The Athletic, and then he skipped out on his contract or something. Because I know he was doing research for the Football 100. I remember that. I thought it didn't come out for some reason because he didn't promote it. Something went sideways there, I bet.
something must have gone sideways, but it is out.
And you can still get it. And it
And
would
you
be
can
great.
get it. So if you have a football lover,
yes.
then you can go that direction.
All right. So I have one for you.
Mhm.
What about what's the hot cookbook? I need to get a cookbook for my chef brother-in-law, who I always get cooking related stuff for, but don't want to look dumb by getting him an uncool cookbook. What cookbook would I get?
So for dudes,
Oh, it doesn't
I
have to be
would-
a dude. He could be
okay, because the hot cookbook in my mind, but I think it has more of a girl vibe, is the new cookbook by Erin French.
Oh. No,
You
I
know
think
Erin.
dudes are into Erin French.
Okay, great. So just to remind people who she is the owner of the restaurant The Lost Kitchen, which is in Maine. I believe there's now a TV show about it on like HBO Max. And this is the restaurant where you have to send in a postcard to get a reservation. Like she just picks a postcard out of a bucket or whatever.
True. Yeah.
So her new cookbook is called Big Heart Little Stove. And it just came out last month. And it's, it's lovely. And it's like her kind of home cooking recipes, but it's also has ideas for like your table and just like making gatherings nice or whatever. We got both phone lines ringing. I don't know if everyone can hear that. It's
we cannot hear
really
the phone ringing.
Chaotic. Okay,
it's
good.
Not happening.
Great.
No.
That's not happening. So there's Erin French's cookbook. There's also a new Molly Baz cookbook, which has been quite popular. And that cookbook is called More is More. And it's called Get Loose in the Kitchen. And it's very vibrant and like fun. And just like encourages you to like, get loose in the kitchen. So that one's been popular. But
Getting
if you
loose
have like
in the kitchen seems like a bad idea. Yeah. I don't know.
But if you have a slightly more pretentious like brother-in-law who whatever.
Yeah.
There's a new Joshua Wiseman cookbook. And he's the dude who like, is really into like texture. So this book's about texture called Texture Over Taste.
I like that. Because I don't like slimy things.
No, I think that's great.
Crunchy. I need it to be crunchy, actually.
Yeah, he's like one of those, guys who's always like using all sorts of tricks and science in the kitchen.
Oh, like torches and chemistry and whatnot.
Yeah. I don't know.
That sounds fun. That sounds fun.
Like when you watch Top Chef, they go visit him and it's like, oh my God.
Oh, I don't do a lot of Top Chef. As someone who doesn't like food, this is perhaps not a good gift for me. If I am your brother-in-law, do not give me this.
You are not a pretentious chef. So no. I would not give you that one.
I'm really not. I make a mean grilled cheese sandwich, though.
I might give you one of our decks that is like how to make a real kick-ass cheese board.
Oh, yeah, that would be fine. Yeah, sure.
We have wine and cheese decks. So each card has like, make this cheese board and pair it with this wine.
And you can
Which I think also makes a good gift.
With it, or what?
It'd be tough. It'd be a weird cribbage game.
We played a lot of cribbage up in Quebec City. We missed you.
Oh, I played a lot of cribbage over Thanksgiving too with Jason's aunt's new boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
Actually, your nephew, Wells, really
dominated.
Well, he won one and lost one, which was great. And the one he lost, he was in the pee-pee hole. So
couldn't feel bad about it.
Can't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But I thought he just did a really good showing. Like we raised him properly because he knows how to like low card wins deal when you cut for deal, and like he just knew everything, all the right like cribbage mannerisms. And he was only 11, so.
Yeah. And this new guy was like cribbage pro, or like was shamed by Wells's knowledge.
He was very impressed.
I see. All right.
Yeah, he's a long time player.
I see.
Anyway, we digress. I'm just bragging about my son. Tell us about some music books. I have a real music lover,
Aha.
uncle.
Yeah, there's like 3 of us left in the world, so they probably will get all of these books. I think the book of the season is going to be the new Geddy Lee autobiography. Of all of the people who are releasing new books, he's like the only like real rock and roller. It's called My Effin' Life. I've read more than one book on Rush, Geddy Lee's band, which is basically over because oh crap, I just spaced the name of Rush's drummer. That is just terrible. Alex Lifeson is the guitarist and Geddy Lee is
This is embarrassing because I was about to say this is like your favorite band.
I've been having terrible aphasia lately. All right, well, it's gonna come to me later. Anyway, the drummer died. He was the one who wrote all the songs. Geddy Lee is probably going to tell some stories about him, which I'm excited about. I think, like, for rock and roll fans, especially also if it is a Canadian you're shopping for, people may not know that Rush is the most popular band in Canadian history. So if you have a Canadian relative or a Canadian brother-in-law, they will love this book. Also, as a sidebar, we listened to the first half of the Britney Spears autobiography on the way back from Canada. And the Woman in Me is such a funny name for the book. I don't know why.
It's a really bad title. Like, the more I look at it, I'm like, why? Why did anybody let her do that?
I don't know. It's so dumb, but it is like, it's so Britney. Like, I do not want to besmirch Britney Spears' character in any way, but the amount of times in the autobiography she says honestly, or I swear to God, or like, I'm like, yeah, I get that it's real. It's your autobiography. Like, the whole thing. She must have like dictated into her phone or something, right? Like, it's just
no. I think someone told me she had 3 different ghostwriters, and I think they all sat with her and just tried to capture her voice.
I don't know. Like, there were so many times I was like, oh, like I knew like her meeting Max Martin was coming up, and I love Max Martin, and he's just legendary songwriter for all those boy bands and stuff. And the whole Max Martin thing lasts like 90 seconds. Like, that's all I get. There's no detail. Well,
we got to move on to Justin Timberlake and what a dick he is. So
I guess, but even like that, like, I don't know. I feel like I could have read 3 People magazines and known as much about Britney Spears as I now know after reading the first half of her whole entire autobiography.
Okay. We didn't have the same response to it, I guess, but that's okay. But on the Geddy Lee thing, I would just say that should not be one of your library borrows this month. You should just be patient. Wait for Christmas.
I also want to put a plug in for, those are all autobiographies. There's only 2 real like biographies, which I think are usually much better research, much more depth. I think the Lou Reed biography called The King of New York by Will Hermes has a ton.
I just tried to sell that to somebody. He was not buying it. No.
I am definitely having that on my list. Everything I've read about it looks like it's really well done. Also, I kind of missed it, but there's that new George Harrison book called The Reluctant Beetle. And I was just looking through it. It's by Philip Norman, who also did the John Lennon bio that I read and really liked. I think he wrote the best John Lennon bio. And it's massive. And so I'm sure like it was kind of easy to pivot to George Harrison because he already had a ton of stuff. But he also wrote books on Clapton and Hendrix. So like that whole like late 60s London, he must have some really cool granular stuff. So I bet that's really good, and that will also be on my list.
Yeah, I will also mention there are some beautiful oversized books. One is by Dolly Parton, which I guess she's putting out. Oh.
I have someone who has a coffee table. And this person needs something that's going to look really cool on their coffee table for Christmas.
Let me
Do you have anything
tell
for
you.
them?
Yeah, let me tell you about this Dolly Parton book. It is, giant and bright pink and gold and sparkly. It's called Behind the Seams.
Oh, yeah.
My Life in Rhinestones. So Dolly's basically like mining her life, and every year she's putting out like a big, beautiful book. She did one last year. This is this year's. And as I understand, she's going to have another one next year. I don't know how many she's gotten her, but she's got a lot of memories and paraphernalia and like stuff to show and remember. So it's got a lot of photos and text, and it's cool. So if you like Dolly Parton, you should get that for your coffee table.
Yeah, there's also, isn't there a new Willie Nelson book that's kind of similar to, like, it's all about the stories behind his songs or something?
Yes, it's called Energy Follows Thought, the stories behind my songs.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, so that's also like an oversized
right?
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know if they have the same like marketing agency or something, but both Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton seem to be doing the same thing, where instead of releasing like one big autobiography or licensing a big biography, they're putting out like a little slice of life book every year so they can keep cashing in. You know, I guess there's like, you know, no retirement plan for aging rock stars.
Yeah, I guess. But the other, I mean, moving on from music, the other coffee table book I wanted to mention is called The Art of Creating Houses, which is like, it's quite thick and it's architectural. About a lot of the houses in the book are like on Cape Cod. I think there are a couple on the North Shore, but there's a lot of like local houses included. And so I think we have a lot of people in the area who like that kind of stuff.
It's like New England house porn, is what you're telling me?
Yes, exactly right.
It's lucky that all the nice architectural houses are right here in New England. That's great.
It is great. Okay. So let me see. I have another one for you.
What's that?
What about, so, you know, we can be a little snobbish here in the forums. What if someone walks in and they're like, I need to buy something for my sister-in-law and she likes really trashy books?
Oh, I have just the thing for that.
Excellent.
And it actually kind of serves the double purpose of kind of making fun of people who maybe are, you know, stereotypically in the farms. This is a book called Bad Summer People. Do you know about this book?
I recall seeing it. Do you have it in front of you?
This is part of my
yes,
library project. So I went to the library.
Nice.
I returned that garbage Chuck Palahniuk book, and
Yep.
I was struggling to find something. And so I picked Bad Summer People by Emma Rosenblum. And it is just horribly trashy, which is what it's what she's stuck out to do. So Emma is the chief content officer at Bustle Digital Group. So she edits like Elite Daily and the Zoe Report and Romper. So it's like, you know, websites for like rich people or whatever. So now she's written a book that just lampoons rich people, but I think she is also a rich person when you look at like her acknowledgments. And
Probably.
so it's about an island off the coast of Long Island where people go to summer, and like there's an investment banker, and you know they're all rich. They all have had
It's like Fisher's Island or something.
yeah, I mean Block Island, one of those places that
One of
has
those.
like it's like no cars are allowed, and you have to ride around on golf carts, and you know like
I'm sure
everybody takes their stuff in from the ferry, and they all play tennis. And so it's just a book where every character is horrible. So there's tennis pro who like sleeps with his clients, and everybody is cheating on each other with their various husbands' best friends. And there's a woman who gets people drunk so that she can get, you know, salacious details out of them. And it's terrible, but I actually read it
But enjoyable?
very well. So I guess I don't know. Like the thing is like you can never, it never quite, you know, it goes back and forth between being like, oh, I'm ripping on all these people, and then you sort of find yourself like liking their lifestyle. Like, oh, this would be kind of fun if there was no repercussions for, you know, doing these awful things, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's also, it reminded me of the mystery books because someone dies in the prologue. We find a body in the prologue, and we don't find out whose body it is until like the second to last chapter or something.
What?
But what's hilarious is that like I had totally forgotten about the body by the time it
Yeah, sure.
happened. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot somebody died. Who cares? Like, like I didn't care about any of them. Like, they all could have died, and I'd have been like, oh, that's funny. Like
That's great because they're all terrible.
I don't know,
Okay.
so I think it's sort of biting satire in a way. I think that's how it's being pitched. But then, especially when you read the acknowledgments, she's like, "Oh, and like shout out to the people on whatever island where I love you so much." Like she clearly like went to these places. It's clearly modeled after a place that she goes to and seems to like.
Right.
I don't know, but I think if you're
Interesting.
looking for like something a little bit trashy, I think
Sure.
there's definitely plenty of sex and booze and all sorts of fun things.
Awesome.
All right, let's see. I got one more for you.
Okay.
Which is what about I've got a cousin who's coming over. He is a mystery buff, and he wants a reliable mystery that has come out recently and isn't just the same old thing, something that is fun. I have some ideas, but maybe you do.
Cool. I want to hear your ideas. I'm going to mention The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson.
That's what I meant to ask.
Is that on your list?
A Christmas mystery. No. Yeah.
Peter Swanson moved to Gloucester a year or two ago. He used to live in the Boston area. And he stopped into the store, and this book, The Christmas Guest, hadn't come out yet, but he said, I have this new book coming out. And, I think it's like a real British thing to publish Christmas novellas, especially mysteries.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And we're kind of catching on here in the States. So he said he had sold this in the UK, and then his US publisher was like, oh, that is great. Yeah, we'll do that too. So this is an American university student is, studying in London, and she goes for the Christmas holidays to a classmate's like country estate, and like things are weird. And this is in the 80s or something like that. And then you get to more contemporary time and you start to realize like what really happened and stuff. So it's a novella. So like short and accessible and like, feels like you can read it this December. And
I like Christmas books.
It's got good
just
atmosphere.
Like Christmas songs. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I love a good Christmas book.
Yeah. Also, I think
what did you have on your list?
Well, I think the two big mysteries are the new Anthony Horowitz, Twist of a Knife.
Right.
Which I think is, going to be
we're like
big.
pretty deep in that series now.
Oh, I know. So I was going to say, if you want to really do somebody a solid, you think they don't know his stuff, you can start with The Word is Murder, which is in paperback. That's the start of the little series that the Twist of the Knife is in. But I think they're like very literary mysteries. People, would dig those, sort of a broad spectrum of mystery lovers.
Yeah. Do you read or watch Slow Horses, the Mick Herron series that they turned into a show?
No, but you told me about it. You said it's good.
Well, I haven't. I think maybe Mom and Dad told you it was good.
Oh, maybe Mom and Dad said it was good.
But people really like this book series as well as the TV series. But he has a standalone. So I think that could be a good gift of like, because I think it's sometimes tough to give people a book in a series. I mean, obviously you can start with the first one, but I think a good standalone. So this one's called The Secret Hours. And it's in that world, but it's, you can just read it on its own.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The last,
Is there another one?
Well, the last one that I was going to suggest is I want to see this is my prediction, is the book that is going to be the next Boy, the Horse, the Fox, and the Badger, or whatever that's.
Yep.
I think
you butchered it just like everybody else who walks in the store.
All right, I know. I'm never going to learn the real things. I don't care. I know there's a boy and a horse and a fox and some other stuff. I think the next one is going to be The Cat Who Taught Zen by James Norbury. Like that is going to be the next big book. that everybody is giving, like, oh, look at you, you're heading off to college. I already gave you the horse, the box, the boy, and whatever. Here's a new one called The Cat Who Taught Zen. And it's the same sort of like semi-illustrated, life lessons. Reminds me a little bit of the Tao of Pooh, which was very important to me as a sophomore in college. So that's my prediction for the big catch-all. I don't have any idea what to buy this young person book. I will buy them The Cat Who Taught Zen.
Nice. Great. I think that's a good suggestion.
Try not to sound so surprised.
I'm not surprised at all. I do know that book. He is also the author of a book called Big Panda and Tiny Dragon.
Oh.
Which is a similar, basically he's got a shtick now a little bit. Yeah. So it's worked for him. I think that's great. So I'm all for it. That's all I got.
That's all you got. All right. I think that we've covered a lot of people. Is there anybody? I did have you're looking for something to get your grumpy grandfather. You might want to get this new Ghosts of Honolulu book, The Untold Story of Pearl Harbor. This is a book.
I was trying to order more and they're kind of sold out. I think it took people by surprise. It's Mark Harmon, right?
Yeah. And it just looks like the type of book that you're going to get your grandfather. It's the type of book that I hope I never want to read. I just could not care less about whatever happened in Honolulu before World War II. I don't care, but apparently people care. And, grandfathers of the greatest generation, I think that also
totally.
The only other one is I've been very surprised by how well this Outlive book is selling. So you might, if you want to kind of give a little subtle hint to your parents that maybe they could, get their lifestyle in order, this Outlive book tells
people have really been into that.
Yeah,
there's a new book coming out tomorrow called How Not to Age or something like that. There's just seemed to be a lot of books about how to live longer and whatever.
All those baby
which
boomers
is great.
worried about dying,
Right. We didn't really talk about kids' books at all, but we don't really talk about kids' books. Well, just that in the middle grade space, there are a lot of new books and continuing series that people have been really excited about, like the Wild Robot series.
Oh yeah,
by Peter Brown.
Yeah.
There's the Wild Robot Protects.
Yeah.
That people have been excited about. Also, everyone sort of thought Percy Jackson was done, but there's the new book in the Percy Jackson series.
Oh yeah, and we've talked about it, but there's the new Murtaugh book that continues the Aragon series.
Right.
And that's going to be a big book.
Carl Hyacin writes books for kids, and he has a new one called Wrecker.
Oh wow! So my kids love the Carl Hyacin books. Yeah,
right. And we just had another one, and I forgot it. But Catherine Applegate, very popular. She has a new book called Dogtown. There's a lot in the middle grade space that I think, and tons of new graphic novels, and there's the new Cat Kid coming out tomorrow.
Cat Kid. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. A new Bad Guys came out a couple weeks ago. There's fairly newish Babysitter's Club. So just all your go-to series, there's new stuff.
Nice.
And then a ton of new picture books, holiday picture books. Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Sleigh.
What?
Numa Willems. Yeah.
Oh my. I need to have that.
Yes. A new Mark Barnett and John Klassen collab called How Does Santa Go Down the Chimney? That one's been popular.
That sounds good. I like it.
Yeah. So then there's a new Grinch book, which, I'm going to be honest and admit I haven't read it. It's called How the Grinch Lost Christmas.
What? How there's a new Grinch book?
Which obviously somebody wrote in the style of Dr. Seuss, since Dr. Seuss is state approved or whatever.
Interesting.
So I don't know how people are going to feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Judging
about
by
that either.
sales in our store, not good. But elsewhere, I think it's doing okay.
Well, I hope everybody, we have a tradition where all of our Christmas books are put away for the year and then we bring them out
That's
right
nice.
after Thanksgiving and then we read them before bed. And now Ruby Jane is off at college, but Gus still likes himself a Christmas book every once in a while, I got to say.
Wow. We are not that
He's a
organized. That's
junior in
great.
high school. Yeah. All right. I think that's enough gift talking.
I think that's good.
I know. I can see that you are, frazzled by all of the activity in the store.
There's a lot going on. UPS did come while we were talking, so I've got a big stack of boxes next to me.
I hope people get a feel for just how busy this time of year is in the bookstore. Also, if you don't know, if you only listen to this like on Spotify or on Apple or whatever, if you go to our website, bookshop@beverlyfarms.com, and look under cool stuff, there is the landing page for John Updike's Ghost. And we have a link to every single book that we talk about right there on the website. Actually, you could order it right through our website if you wanted to. You wouldn't even have to. We could just do all of your shopping for you. Imagine if you listen to this podcast, go to our website, click on all the books that sound good, order them up. Hannah will send them to you. She will even gift wrap them for you. And you don't have to, your whole Christmas is done. That is pretty awesome, I think.
I also will say, if you're just overwhelmed, you're like, oh, there's so many books. Or like the person who has all the books already, they probably don't have a corduroy bookshop baseball cap.
Oh, I bet they don't.
So you could also buy them that.
That's true. Our bookshop baseball hat is amazing. It is the most comfortable hat I've ever worn, especially for people who do not like a deep hat. It does not touch your ears unless you have a very shallow head. I don't think very people do that. Doesn't touch my ears anyway, and I have a shallow head. So, also, you know what? A bookshop gift card is never a bad present.
Never a bad gift.
Old stocking. Never bad.
Let somebody choose their own book.
Yeah.
From their favorite local bookshop.
Maybe you could even give them a book and tuck a little gift certificate into it so that you're giving them both now and into the future. What an amazing person you would be. That person who received that gift, they would think to themselves, holy smokes, I love this person who just gave me this gift. I, sort of ambivalent about them until now, but now they're like my favorite aunt. That's something that could happen.
What's your phone number?
We give bookshop gifts all the time. All of Wells's friends get them for their birthdays.
I would hope so.
Anyway.
Okay, well, we'll have at least one more before the holiday season is over. And at that point, we will talk about something that is not gift related, probably, or who knows, maybe it'll be last minute stocking stuffers. It's really hard to say. But we hope that you just had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with your friends and family, and that this gift-giving season is not very stressful for you, and in fact is awesome. And you get outside a little bit and enjoy some holiday strolls, do some caroling. Never a bad idea to tip your local musician who might be playing songs in your area. And otherwise, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.